Welcome everybody to our second match of Heroic League.
Oh boy.
I am joined here by by Anti. My name is MK Strom. We're here for our second match of quarterfinals between Falcon and In the Trees.
Oh, we got some wild bans already.
Some quick bans. We're missing the
instant Ezreal.
Yeah, very quick Ezreal there. So Cassiopeia out, Taric out. Not bans I'm used to seeing on this patch personally. I'm guessing those are targeted, but yeah.
Yeah, we see the Vladimir taken away. Not actually. Wait, no, that's Falcon banning it. Okay, I have no idea what's going on.
Kind of unexpected. Maybe some like early scouting. Maybe they're trying to play each other's picks, something like that. Maokai coming in. I don't. Could be flex top lane, I suppose. It could be top lane support. We haven't seen support in a long time. To be fair, we haven't seen top lane Maokai in a long time. Then instant lock Ezreal. Ezreal's been seeing a lot of play mid recently, so we could be seeing that in either lane as well. Whether that's going to go in obviously solo lane or whether we're going to put that on the ADC, probably going to be matchup dependent or player dependent.
But also here, there's oh my god, Draven.
Draven very early, so that must be a lot of confidence that that's going to be going into ADC. Maybe
I mean, Draven's been traditionally very strong into the Ezreal. So if that is going to be an AD carry pick, yeah, there is going to be something that Ezreal's going to have some trouble with. I was about to say. Could be mid. Yeah, I was about to say, we don't see any Triss being banned away. Don't see
Zillion. How do you follow this draft?
How do I follow this?
Yeah, no, and again, that Zillion, we could be seeing that mid lane, and then the Gwen picked up, that left completely unbanned. Going through this late, Josh very excited to see the Gwen pick up. Seeing a lot of success in pro play lately, unless it's on, you know. And then Vygar, what? Lots of unconventional picks coming out. I'm guessing a lot of comfort picks. They want to take this first game easy. Of course, this is a best of 3. So maybe wanting to just kind of feel out the match, go for some comfort picks, something like that. Again, not really a good idea of where Falcon's going to be putting some of these picks. Again, Zillion could go mid lane, could. Into Vygar, I guess it could happen. It's not an awful pick by any means. Ezreal again flexing between 2 lanes. INT feels confident
between, you know, technically 3.
Yeah, just
INT going to ban away the Gangplank though. So they're calling it out. They're saying there's no way Falcon puts this Gwen top.
Yeah, a lot of confidence on that if you want to drop a ban on it. But of course, they don't really have anywhere safe to drop the ban other than jungle. Speaking of jungle bans, Volibear from Falcon. Just trying to lock down some of those last picks. Maybe a little bit of engage. Kind of worried about. And then Cho'Gath, yeah, double ban onto the top lane. That is a lot. They must know.
They know it's not going top. Like there's no way this Gwen's going top. That's what In the Trees is telling us.
Yeah.
And there's a question as to whether or not, you know, Falcon's going to call their bluff, or if they're actually just going to stick the Gwen mid or jungle maybe. And Lee Sin taken away as well. Surprisingly enough, Lee Sin has been seeing very little in terms of pick ban lately, despite the fact that he's a triple flex. So, of the triple flex threats right now, we only have Gwen on the board. Nocturne's still available. Udyr is going to be picked up from In the Trees, still a very strong champion despite all the nerfs.
Very hard to get rid of the flash bear slap. It's consistently good. It's consistently stunned. Consistently on target. Kind of a strange draft so far, just looking at In the Tree so far. I mean, obviously we haven't seen quite as much come up from Falcon yet because they have so much ambiguity around this, but Maokai, which you have not seen, I haven't seen it in a long time. Draven and the Shen picked up on the other side, but just to continue on that, Draven getting picked up, which you see very little of. That's clearly to go into that Ezreal. They're very confident that's the matchup that they're getting. Vygar, and then of course we see a little bit Udyr, but he's fallen out of favor a little bit lately.
A little bit, but he's still very strong. Like he's still being picked a lot in pro play.
Yeah.
And the Shen being picked up seems like the Gwen is in fact not going to be going top lane.
What?
Shen jungle? Or
yeah,
Gwen
it's either
jungle?
Shen or Gwen. We have the draft finished, and I'm still lost. I still have no idea where they're putting these picks.
There's no way they're bringing out the Ezreal jungle, but God, do I want to see it.
Yeah, no, what we do have here, obviously they wouldn't have something good to go in that bot lane, but we do have is a good amount of poke coming out, maybe some Jace to counter that. I don't feel like In the Trees' comps is gonna cohere all that well at the moment. We have, obviously the Gwen who's a power pick right now. We got the Shen to back her up on the engage, and then 2 champions to poke down. We got the Zillion to engage. I think this is really based around that Gwen for Falcon. I like it.
Yeah, and I don't know. This is going to be incredibly interesting. And like I like the the drafts are reversed.
Drafts are reversed at the moment. Okay, well,
this makes
let's look
things
at this
even
from
more
another angle.
interesting.
Okay, just really quick flip around my opinion. In the Trees, I like their comp based around the Gwen.
Yeah. Also, the Vladimir ban makes way more sense.
Yeah, Vlad ban makes more sense. All right, we're caught up. I think we just try and get this one rolled into game and then clear it up from there.
All right. Honestly, I'm gonna probably give this to In the Trees. Like, it's an interesting composition to play around with. But it feels like the thing is with Falcon, right? If they get behind, they just instantly lose the game. If In the Trees gets behind, they still have the ability to hold on. They have the wave clear, they have the scaling, they have split push if they need it. Like I feel like everything's like in place.
Whereas Falcon really looks like they're trying to snowball with the Jace and with the Draven pick, and again with Ligar. Obviously, it does scale, but
they've got the good. They got a great setup for it, but we'll have to see how things go.
Yeah, and into game. Just getting those initial lineups out of the way, but now do we have the everything in the right order now? Yes, I think we got everything sorted. Good to see.
Okay, so it's gonna be the Conqueror Gwen jungle. Gwen's ganks. Okay, so I know that I said Gwen's a triple flex. I have not seen much of her in the jungle. That's by far her least popular role.
But she's a champion where you want hard CC for the ganks, and I think they have that with the Xerath.
Yes,
a little bit inconsistent. And again with Taunt on the Shen, so she can definitely get in on these waves.
Yeah,
lanes.
especially with Shen and Zillion, it makes it incredibly easy for the Gwen to get in. So I'm not really expecting to see much in mid lane, but I could absolutely see Gwen slamming top or bot lane.
And how do you feel about it if Udyr does the Udyr thing where he just contests you at Scuttlecrab and just kind of takes that 1v1? Do we think Gwen is in a good situation there? Obviously the Conqueror is going to make those fights really nice for her, but
Gwen in terms of early fights is ridiculously strong. I think that she could definitely contest those. The biggest question is, how fast is her jungle clear? I don't know, because like it's one of the few places that I haven't played her yet. And I honestly don't know how her jungle clear matches up against the meta picks right now.
Yeah, looking like she's a little bit back. Obviously, Smite burned on the Udyr there, so I mean, something we'll have to keep track of. The bot lane's another one that I think we're just going to have to be high contention. Obviously, you're saying Ezreal Draven, Draven favored. Very nice for him to take those trades. They can take short fights, try to disengage afterwards. Obviously, Ezreal's going to poke you back if you do that. But we're worried about the snowballing if you're in the trees. You're worried about the Draven just getting those axes, getting those pickups, getting that passive rolling. And then he gets one kill, and all of a sudden he's very threatening, just able to walk up and hit people. And if Draven can stand close enough to Gwen and he doesn't mind it, then there's not a lot left to try and shut him down.
Yeah, but I think that if Draven can stand directly in front of Gwen and not mind, I think the game's just over at that point. Kenny gonna take a lot of damage here, though. Oh, the Maokai sapling's really hurting. It's been a while since we saw this, but I'm pretty glad.
And I like it for the harassment, because I guess they know that this lane was going to be important. Obviously, picking the Maokai up before, I mean, they were looking into Ezreal when they picked it. But I guess they maybe just wanted to get some damage down for this lane, but it can be really threatening to CS if you're down on a lot of HP into Draven picking a poke support.
And way to do that. Importantly here, the Zillion pick actually makes it really easy to punish Draven, because every time Draven wants to go for a spinning axe, bomb, easy. It's basically guaranteed harass at this point. And if Draven decides not to catch a spinning axe, then that he's going to lose a lot of DPS. You can go in for another trade. It's honestly just a really good pick into the Draven here, and especially with Gwen on the team, being their main like frontline along with Shen, I don't think that being lacking like a proper dive buddy is going to be that much of a problem because you can just ult one of your frontliners. I'm really liking the Zillion pick here, but you know, probably gonna be.
Yeah, just the engage there from Wild, just trying to get on top of the Shen. Obviously, Shen being able to just dash out of there and attempt to counter on the other side from the Gwen, trying to see if there's some stuff there for Delta to pick up, but of course Udyr is nothing but if he has a clean jungle. That is a very, very surefire mark. You're playing against Udyr, there's nothing on the map. Permanently cleared.
Yeah, an interesting pickup here. The blasting ones immediately from Delta. I would have expected to see a little bit of attack speed early, or you know, maybe some boots so that way she can get around the map faster. But you know, lacking the damage on the E is like not being able to get as many autos off on the E is going to kind of hurt a bit.
Yeah. Just missing the taunt up top lane, but yeah, no. Going for that damage early seems a bit strange. Obviously, there's not too many auto-attacking AP champions in the game, but the one that I'm super familiar with is Zir, and sometimes it feels like a bait if you go for that early attack speed, but of course, Gwen has that little bit of an attack speed steroid, maybe wants that early damage more. I think if you can get in for a gank, he's going to do a lot, but it is, you know, how soon can that happen? Are we going to fall behind on clears there? And it's something Delta's going to have to be worried about. If you can get in somewhere.
Obviously, you know, I haven't put in too much time on Gwen jungle, and if
mid.
Oh, yeah, and if Delta is if Delta's played enough that you know Falcon knows that it's going to be Gwen jungle, chances are Delta's got a better idea of what to get early.
Yeah, and it's a lot of speculation so far. It looks like Udyr just gonna run through that mid lane, give the Xerath a little surprise, and just walk out to the other side. Very, very gentle start so far from both these teams, and I think if we look at the scaling, I'm just going to favor the side with that Gwen that has those two. You know, Shen doesn't exactly empower, but just being able to drop the shield and go in with her is really good for how mobile she is. She got this, the damage behind her from those long range carries. I just like this comp going later, and I think if this game's going to be quiet, of course we got that Udyr sitting on that top side.
Yeah, and one of
the
biggest things here is that. The one person that Udyr was able to get push on was Shen, and he was able to get Shen's flash. The thing is, it's Shen. He can block auto attacks, so ganking him is still going to be a bit of a problem if Shen's not already in a bad position. And if Falcon doesn't do anything to get ahead in this game, it's just going to get further and further away from them as INT scale up. It's genuinely kind of concerning that Udyr hasn't been able to get anything done yet.
It's especially concerning when you pick that Draven. I was talking about how fast he can snowball those things, right? Because, you know, he's got the catching axes, he's going to stack so much gold. It's usually one kill, and it can really swing the laning phase, and you have to get a lot of support down there to try and deal with that Draven, especially if you don't have a super, super early game pick. You don't have, like, a Caitlyn or something. But he started Doran's Shield. And if you're playing into a lane as Draven where you feel like you need to start Doran's Shield, maybe you shouldn't be playing Draven. Maybe that's not the pick that you want. Of course, they picked this really early in the draft, and that might have been just for those bombs that you were talking about going down.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't feel... It's not where you want to be as a Draven, just starting on that Doran Shield. You want to be applying that pressure early if you can, using that extra AD that you have.
Yeah, honestly, if I would have much preferred just, you know, D-Blade start, and 2 levels ago, you know, flashing in with Udyr and literally just hitting everything. But gonna get caught out here.
Flash now. And this is 1v3. Are they going to get that kill over to Draven? Yes, they are. And that's that stacking we were just talking about now. Chasing down the Ezreal going over the wall. Now it's just up to Slops to try and get away from this. He's got his flash, but he doesn't have his E up at the moment. Kenny dropping the ulti. Looks like they're going to be able to ward this away, but no, getting too far in. Doesn't have any way over the Vagar E. And getting caught out there by the Maokai. And now that's a big gold swing all of a sudden. Huge amount of gold onto that Draven just from that one kill and the assist. And that's the snowballing we were talking about, 2k over.
Yeah, and just like that, I was expecting... I wanted a jungler to come down, to snowball this lane, but that's not exactly what I had in mind.
Yeah, maybe a gold swing going the wrong way there. Not quite the jungle gold swing we were expecting. Gold swing indeed, nonetheless. We're seeing those lanes, big waves going in now for Falcon, just capitalizing. Getting that Herald as well. It looks really nice for them. That's exactly where you want to be right now. See if that Herald can go down bot lane, get that Draven even more ahead. I think we could run into a situation where, again, Draven could duel that Gwen. Draven can duel the Shen. He's just not going to be bothered with anything that's being thrown at him. He's going to have enough CC around him. It's looking pretty good.
Yeah, and all of a sudden we go from a game that was looking very concerning for Falcon into a game that looks very comfortable for them. They don't necessarily have to do much in order to hold on to this lead because Draven already has the gold lead in his pocket. He's perfectly content to just farm up, and then anytime anyone challenges him, just absolutely snowball it again.
Yeah, no, and we were saying that we wanted Falcon to do something. We wanted them to be active. We wanted them to try and make use of the fact that they have the snowballing comp. And it wasn't them being active. It was them being reactive in a really good way, catching that Gwen out in the jungle. And then maybe too much of a commitment there from in the trees.
Yeah,
just getting completely caught out.
It's going to be really interesting to see how this game develops from here. Mid lane, just Camel Basil's just going to continue to scale up on the Veigar. And CS lead here is actually like kind of surprising considering it's into a Xerath.
Yeah, you expect Xerath to just push you into tower all the time, maybe just not making use of all those auto attacks, maybe not getting it under turret. But I mean, we have seen Udyr there quite a few times, and really we haven't seen too much from Delta yet. We were saying it's probably hard for him to gank, but he does have those support, the support of the CC in those lanes. I'm surprised we haven't seen that attention mid lane. Both flashes are still up there. And just maybe we need to see Gwen coming bot lane again, but just making use of the fact that, hey, there's no flashes bot lane. We have the Zillion ulti. We can get you in.
Yeah. I don't know, because like it feels like INT are so willing to just let this game scale up. I just want to know how far they're planning on going with this and whether or not that's going to work to their benefit or their detriment. Because the longer this game goes, yes, technically they will scale up, but only up till a certain point. Once it gets past that, mid-late game and to the late game, then that's when Falcon have some really, really scary damage threats.
Yeah. And not that there's no way to prevent it. Obviously, having a lot of poke late in the game makes those fights where you're just kind of playing for an inch, just trying to get close to that dragon, trying to get more control over it, trying to get closer to Baron, whatever it might be, those neutral objectives. Having the poke composition is really comfortable in those situations because you can just kind of take your time unless you've got an inhib down or something. But even then, like, you can just win those fights before they even start. We have a fight starting bot lane. Oh, Ezreal ulti missing. Not gonna happen. Gonna be all just that Herald coming down bot lane. Gold onto the Draven potentially here. No, all of it going onto the Udyr. Not getting into range. Obviously, probably couldn't, given how much attention was given down there. But that's still gold onto Udyr, and it's not bad.
Yeah, and just like that, we're 11 minutes in. There's literally 2 kills on the board, but that's a 3k gold diff. I mean, Broccoli gonna go in for a trade here, but like, I don't think that we're really gonna get too much. It's just few love taps here and there. Just gonna even right back out.
I should say that top lane has been kind of neglected from us, but Cull finished on the Jace. Pretty big CS lead. It's not nothing. Like, when you look at the snowballing that's happening in these other lanes, obviously Vigar's getting more out of this farm than Xerath is, but hold on, Vigar maybe just going to be running into the fountain for a second here. Flash burned. Now that CC landed. Just cooldown's burnt. The flash going down from Camel. Maybe we'll see a return trip from Delta.
Yeah, an unfortunate misplay from Delta. Was going to make use of the W to go through the Veigar E, but unfortunately, just going to get stunned up anyway. Because did not quite time it right. Not sure if it was the W activation that was off, or waiting for Veigar's range, but could have gotten more out of the gank, but didn't quite.
Yeah, like I was saying, we have snowballing in all 3 lanes right now. It must feel really oppressive right now if you're in the trees, because it feels like that's the only place where you're safe. No matter where you go, if you're in a lane, you're running into somebody who's probably a little bit ahead of you. Obviously, Vigar's getting so much AP that Xerath isn't, just on account of him being Vigar and Xerath not being Vigar. There is a farm, like, there's no farm discrepancy, there's no back discrepancy really. It's just that Vigar is hitting those Qs and getting that extra damage. Top lane, there's a big CS difference. Done the Manamune now and onto the double longsword. He's going to start getting a lot of damage quite soon, and Jace can be quite scary in that mid game as a result. And obviously, we've seen that Draven. There's a big gold lead down there. We've seen gold go onto the Udyr, the Udyr. It feels really scary for in the trees, but feeling really scary for paytime now. Just getting jumped on by these two. The flash burned. Do they have any way to chase him? The flash E from the Gwen. Is he going to have enough damage? Chilling Smite comes out. Surely the Q will come into play.
There it is.
The kill coming up for Delta, and that is where they need that gold right now, is on that Gwen. They need that Gwen to spread that gold around. But it's about whether or not she's going to be able to do that before they lose too much of the map to spread it around. Bot lane tower, bit of peril right now. This plate's just about to go down. Going to lose a lot of that resistance, and I think this is going to be first tower over to Falcon.
Maybe not on this wave, but Hafs has opted into the Imperial Mandate, which is going to make this, these Maokai saplings significantly more spooky.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, it also means that the later it sails into the game, their only real frontliner is going to be Udyr. So it's a question as to whether or not they can really start the fights the time that they want.
Yeah.
And if INT is going to have enough damage to really like pump back into Udyr to make it hard for them to play.
Yeah, you want Sustain to deal with those late game situations into the poke, right? Like trying to put all of that onto Udyr, who really needs to be attacking something in order to heal up, might make those late game situations a little bit challenging. But they need to get there first, you know? In the trees needs to get to a situation where the Udyr being the only tank is going to be the important part, not the damage discrepancy. And right now there is one.
Yeah,
Jace
right
is
now,
going to be finishing up those items.
Right now, though, Gwen has finished the Nashor's Tooth and the boots, so she's going to be able to get around the map, do quite a bit of damage. And we'll see if she's going to opt into the Sunderer or the Riftmaker. There's a plethora of Gwen builds that are pretty popular right now, so it's a question as to what she's going to end up going for.
Good ultimate accuracy there.
Yeah, and
for the Xerath ulti.
Yeah, and Paytime just going to knock down this tower. And while Shen is very good in the split push, because he's always a brick that you can't really dive and is very hard to deal with, if you can play a champion with range autos like Jace and still knock down that tower anyway without fear of getting like completely locked up under tower, it kind of negates Shen's usefulness here. And Ezreal being down against Draven is really, really rough. And Draven likely has quite a few stacks right now, because the game's been going
just waiting on. We're seeing that Sunderer build on the Ezreal, seeing that mid lane lately. Don't know if that's necessarily what you want ADC, but I don't, I'm sure it would be fine.
It's phenomenal on AD carry
as
well.
Okay,
yeah.
Trust me to keep up with the Ezreal builds. Yeah. No, item discrepancy bot lane is not as bad as I thought it was going to be at this point, honestly. Keeping the CS really even, especially because of the plate difference. I mean, of course, 2 of those went on to the Udyr, so, it's notable.
Yeah, but Delta's looking to make something happen here.
This is what we need to see from Delta, but of course, walking into those saplings, and now that they know he's here, there's only the ward down in the... Yeah, they've got wards down in either brush. They're feeling relatively confident to just walk up. They got the sapling there. It's a really good sapling just to make sure that he has to walk through that ward. And Delta's going to have to leave it. Nothing doing. Draven's going to keep going. But yeah, no, you were saying with the Jace being able to pressure, it feels like there's pressure bot lane, pressure top lane. Mid lane's kind of the one that's on the knife's edge right now. I feel like it could really go either way. That flash is only just coming up from Vigar, so maybe an opportunity missed for a gank there.
Yeah, and one of the big things here, right, is that INT, they're just going to look to scale up. And Falcon, they have a very spooky, comp right now. And if they get like 1 or 2 kills, they can absolutely snowball this, and it's like really scary.
Yeah.
The question is, how are they going to do that? They got one, they got one good start from a misstep from Delta.
Yeah.
And like that was about it. But after that,
are they going to make something happen there?
After that, they haven't done anything. Falcons having trouble being proactive here. They did some very good reactive plays, but actual proactivity has been kind of rough. Meanwhile, INT are just slowly scaling up, and as they know that as long as Falcon can't do anything, they're going to be perfectly fine.
We might be seeing a fight break out around this dragon. Delta into the pit now. Xerath ulti coming out, Ezreal around the side. This poke starting to come in. We have the Shen ulti ready, so there could be engaged from Delta going onto that dragon. Dragon getting very low now. Smite comes in.
Oh boy.
Shen ulti down. Fight in the middle there for Delta is going to be joined very soon by Broccoli. Damage on all sides. Xerath on the backline for whatever reason. There goes the...
Oh, what a great Zillion ulti.
The Zillion ulti. Last second onto that Shen. Gets the taunt.
Oh my god.
Onto the Maokai. Fight kind of breaks into 2, and now Broccoli on the backline. Xerath still top side of the map here, just getting caught out. by the Udyr, who I presume had to have flashed over that wall. That fight split so quickly, and now Broccoli's just stuck in the back line, trying to look for something. It's not going to be happening. Only person left up is Evolved. Yeah. And there's that play that was happening, but again, not necessarily proactivity, but just playing reactive, playing around their strengths, and that's maybe the fight they needed.
Yeah,
to start breaking this game wide open.
Falcon's just been waiting for INT to make mistakes, and like unfortunately, like they're very few, but every single time that INT does make a big mistake, Falcon are so ready to capitalize on it.
Yeah, no, and that one they kind of forced out, right? Like, what do? Going into the first dragon, you don't necessarily just want to leave that if you don't have to. Big rotation from the team. I think, honestly, it could have been better for them if they just left it, but you hand away that for free, and there's still gold racking up in those side lanes.
I mean, I feel like that time, honestly, you go for the drag steal, and fine, it's a single ocean. If you lose the dragon there, you don't have to fight. I think that, Delta already had flash up, still had E, and I think you just leave at that point. I don't think it's a complete necessity that you contest that one.
Yeah, they just felt that maybe they had that power to get in on that fight. Draven now, Collector finished.
Oh boy.
Eclipse finished on the Jace. A lot of items coming through. It's going to make this next fight very scary, whether that's going to be for a very early Baron. I don't expect it will be, but for that Dragon comes in 3 minutes. It's a long way away, but I don't know if that's going to be enough time for In the Trees to start patching these holes. It's slowly getting cannonballed out.
Yeah, I don't know, because like In the Trees, like I said, they're very fine with just sitting back and letting the game take its course, so that way they can scale up. With how much gold that there is in the game now, I'm not too sure if they're actually going to be able to do this. Because like the snowball's going to get really rough. It's really just going to depend how far can Falcon push this. Baron is on the table now, so the next time In the Trees make a big mistake, they could lose like 3 or 4 towers.
Yeah, there could be a lot of gold swung over, and I mean, obviously they're already playing 7k uphill, which massive deficit, especially when you're playing into a team that is stronger than you at this point in the game. And it's about whether or not Falcon's going to recognize that and start pushing some advantages right now. It looks like they're just trying to bait in an engage or something like that. Obviously, pushing into Xerath, not the easiest thing in the world, but yeah, no, I want Falcon to start making some plays, start taking their advantages, because they have a really big one at the moment. Especially being able to pressure both those side lanes, kind of uncontestable, and just maybe get some towers from there, maybe keep pushing this gold lead. But yeah, no, you were saying that In the Trees just kind of wants to let this game, relax, kind of take its course. But I think at this point, the course is straight to their Nexus. Like, they really need to do something proactive. They need to get on top of some gold. They need to get some gold onto either that Gwen or that Ezreal or just kind of anybody, and just stop the bleeding for a little bit here.
I think at this point, you're 7k gold down. Obviously, you don't know that. Like, if you're in the game, you're not necessarily able to see how much gold you're down or something like that. But what you are able to see is the item breakpoints. So by the time that you realize, hey, my Shen's down 2 items.
Just breakpoints. Are we just going to give this one over to the Draven? Looks like it. Yeah,
oh, just Lord.
Actually going to grab that passive proc, and now we're going to start looking at the Baron.
Yeah, like I was saying, Shen's down like 2 items. Draven's up an item and a half. And like
Draven's
that you're
3k.
Yeah, you're like you know that you're not doing well. You just have to start grouping up and goose sweating people at this point.
Yeah. And we see that coming up from Falcon just now, but like, a good attempt on the steal there, trying to layer the Ezreal ulti just in the right time, obviously across the map. Kind of hard to time that. But yeah, no, we see the good squad coming up from Falcon, like just pushing that advantage a little bit more, and I hope that they're comfortable now to just try and take this game. Obviously 9k up. It's no small feat. They have built themselves quite a lead, and I'm surprised they haven't cracked mid turret yet. I'm hoping this is their opportunity to do that.
Yeah, and with this Baron, they should be getting quite a bit off of this. Evolve New doesn't have flash up right now, so if they want to make something happen, they could absolutely do it. Dragon 10, this will put them at soul point. I think that they could get... I think that, INT can't actually contest this.
No, they shouldn't
just
try.
Burn this down, like, so fast.
Absolutely shouldn't try to contest this. Maybe push away that mid wave, so then maybe they can survive a little bit, stall that Baron buff out, but no. Just tossing some moves out, and they saw the Xerath Q. Drop down the blue orb, and that's very low now, but now Actually, a bit too far forward a little bit. Delta flashing backwards.
All right, well,
It's
they
like
got the
nothing
Shen
doing.
ulti.
Yeah, disengaged from the Maokai ulti, but both sums burned on the Draven. And that's somebody you kind of want to keep alive at this point in the game. Could be a little bit more challenging. Obviously, Maokai, far from known from his peeling.
I mean, one interesting thing is Beshi decided to forego the extra. I was about to say Beshi decided to forego the extra crit cloak for a stopwatch, which would have been very important.
Dodge a bomb, I guess.
Fair enough.
Just misclicks happen sometimes. Sometimes you think you got those refills and you sold them. Just happens sometimes, but goes that now. It's still going to build towards that GA that I'm sure is on the way.
Half of me thinks that Beshi probably wanted to move the stopwatch to another spot, so that way they could hit it, and then was dragging the stopwatch.
Yeah, that's a tip that Anti will never let you forget. Something that Broccoli will never forget is how unsafe this jungle is. Oh no, just getting caught out. Taunt getting away, maybe a little bit of an overcommit there from Wild. And Broccoli flashing out, and now there's a difficult situation here because Paytime's taking a lot of damage from the turret. This is exactly what you need if you're in the trees. Delta capitalizing on that immediately. Xerath ulti not quite going to take down Wild as he walks away. Sole survivor.
And that's what you need. Crucial. That was absolutely crucial for INT. But they just need more of these plays is the thing. And like we said, Shen, it's going to be that brick wall. You can't really dive him. Like, yes, he gets caught out. It's still going to be hard to kill.
Yeah, I want to say that was almost down to Wild just overcommitting. And a good reaction there from Broccoli just to go towards his turret as opposed to down the funnel there, going towards his base.
Yeah.
Because Wild really overcommitted and had to run all the way back. Missed that stun time, missed that damage duration before it was out into the turret. Paytime goes down as a result.
Yeah, now Delta has both Natchers and Riftmaker. So Delta's going to be putting out quite a bit of damage in these fights. And it's going to be really interesting to see with, the Shen ulti, the Zillion ulti, how much Delta can actually get done in this, by running straight in. Maokai's pretty good at disengaging, but with Gwen's W, you can just hit W, walk straight through the Maokai ulti. So it's going to be a really big question as to what they're actually able to do.
Yeah, and it's not like they're going to struggle to engage, obviously. They have the Zillion speed, and they have Gwen who has CZ immunity. That's enough. You can get on the back line with that, especially with the Shen ulti on you. You got the Shen coming in behind you. Got the poke behind you. We were saying at the beginning of the game, we've been saying since draft, this comp has something that it's trying to do. The problem is that every fight that we've run into hasn't been 5v5, except for that one where Xerath was on one side, Ezra was on the other, and Gwen was in the middle. You're trying to pincer from behind, doesn't work out. We really still haven't seen them use this composition the way that I'm assuming they drafted it to. And I think that could be a reason why they've been dealing with so much weakness. And I don't think that Falcon's going to let them. They're going to keep on the side lane push, keep them in these split scenarios, and then you really don't have all the pieces put together to finish this puzzle.
Yeah, and INT, they're 10k gold down right now. Trag's going to be coming up in just a minute, and there's some really important item breakpoints that they're not going to be able to hit before this, that Falcon have already hit.
Yeah, no kidding. Infinity Age done on the Draven. We've got the Cosmic Drive coming in on the Vigar. Sure, why not? I'm sure that I'm certain he knows more about Vigar than I do.
Vigar can honestly use Cosmic Drive very effectively, especially with extra points into E early, so that way you have a lower cooldown on it. And it's just it's overall a fairly good item. I'm kind of surprised that that's a Verdant barrier afterwards and not starting on a death cap for Vigar. But we'll see how it goes. They're so far ahead that it honestly shouldn't matter much.
Yeah, and most of that damage obviously isn't coming up from that Vigar. That Vigar's E is probably where he's the most useful right now. Obviously, does still deal damage. It is still Vigar with 220 CS. Still has his mythic done. But yeah, no, just not...
Oh my god!
Yeah, okay, you know what? I was counting down his damage for no reason, apparently. That is a huge amount.
Making you a liar. And just like that, I was gonna say, INT, they have to they can't contest this, but they have to go for a steal because this is Ocean Soul Point. The moment you lose Ocean Soul,
you're not surviving Ocean Soul Point.
Yeah.
And maybe this will be the last push that they need to really get in on these turrets. Or maybe they're going to run to Baron first. They're going to collect all their points, get all the achievements, and then be walking into that base. I'm really surprised that they have not started to capitalize on this. And we're going to see Broccoli taking an inner turret. Now, of course, getting the attention to Paytime. Paytime, for some reason, not super comfortable with that one. And
Like,
they're
the thing
diverted
is,
from
like-
Baron for this.
Like, sure, Broccoli is getting a turret. Like, that's nice and all. But, like, you've given up Ocean Soul. You're giving up the Baron. And INT has just decided to, like... originally, they wanted to sit back and let the game scale. But this has devolved into just sitting back and slowly bleeding out. Which is something that we're not used to seeing from INT. A lot of the times we'll see INT, if they get behind, they know that they have to group up, they have to make something happen. But if they get ahead, they're really good at snowballing their leads. INT consistently had fairly good decision-making, but Falcon are punishing their lack of proactivity. And any mistakes that INT are making, Falcon are punishing really, really hard.
Yeah, and what it might be is a case of, like, they've tried to be proactive this game, right? We saw the attempt on the invade, we've seen the attempt on the Dragonsteel, and maybe they're just feeling kind of boxed in right now, you know? Like, maybe those situations where they're attempting to go for those plays that they normally would go for, they normally can get away with, it just isn't coming together, and they've lost a lot of confidence right now. Maybe they're just, you know, nerves is a possibility, could be really struggling with just trying to get the mindset in the right place, and I'm sure that they will work on that in between the games, try and clean that stuff up. But it's just looking uncharacteristically slow.
Yeah, and, like, you know, IMT's draft, not a bad draft by any means. It's honestly, I think it's a phenomenal draft. It's just a question as what are you going to do with it? I think that first drag that they contested, I don't think they had to contest it at all. I think they should have gone for the steal, but then not try to fight afterwards.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of stuff that it feels like they know what their win condition is, but very vaguely. Like, they vaguely know, hey, if we hit late game, we should probably win. So I feel like they need to take the time, take a deep breath, and understand what it is that they need to have ready for the next game. Because this one feels like it's just going to be a slow bleed.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, you're playing to 4-0 Draven. It's got a bunch
Four
of CS.
items.
Four
items.
items.
30 minutes.
30 minutes, yeah. Just kind of feels really difficult. Paytime's still pushing that top lane. I want to say, though, we're a good way through this Baron buff.
Oh, boy.
I say that just as the Seraph disappears from the map.
My God.
The health bar disappears down to almost nothing. Now Delta getting through that
Delta?
E. Cal looks like he's done here, and there goes that, but so goes the mid turret, so goes the mid inhib, and a trade back from Falcon that, you know, doesn't feel like we should be getting trades in this situation. This feels like it should be really free, but maybe this rotation onto the top side is going to be the free part.
What is Veigar building? I don't know anymore. The change that's being picked up, I feel like at this point, Falcon are just playing not to lose rather than trying to play to win.
Yeah, no, it certainly is feeling like that. They're not taking, like, it's not even that they're not even taking risks. They're just not even taking opportunities at this point. Which, you know, they're trying to play safe as possible. We've definitely been in the same situation. It's not at all confusing to me that they're trying to say, like, hey, we really want to take this lead that we have. But now,
but INT going in here.
Big engage now. Broccoli in there deep, but that health bar dropping almost immediately. Speaking of health bar dropping almost immediately, what was Slops doing that far forward in the range of the Jace? But Delta still hasn't gone down, but that Draven getting on top of him.
She's doing so much.
And now kind of locked out, but of course he's going to
Shield
have the regen, he's going to have the crits. Chasing INT back into their base. They're completely out of room, and they're going to be out of top inhib, they're going to be out of objectives, and they're going to be out of this game.
Yeah, and it was looking so good for a while, until they remembered, oh wait, that's a 4-0 Draven that's free hitting.
Yeah, no kidding. And just the realization from Falcon, hey, we have a 4-0 Draven. Time to start free hitting. And finally making this play into the base. Onto the backline for Getty here. Delta gets immediately bursted by that Veigar build. And we're going to see this game going down in favor of Falcon. Game 1. And what a reverse of the expectations, I think. And like, just I was not expecting the snowball. I wasn't expecting a snowball comp to work that well, but they were just like, okay, we're gonna get our one kill off of you make a mistake. We're gonna wait for you to get aggressive, and we're gonna walk with it. And boy, did they! Huge lead at the end of that game. It was 12K. Just massive.
Something like that. Honestly, one of the big things here is that INT, they had a very good comp. On paper, they should have. I think they should have taken it, but they didn't have a very good. They didn't have a super clear understanding of what exactly they needed to do. Meanwhile, Falcon, they knew what they wanted. They saw their opportunity window and they took it.
Yeah, and by no means to underplay how much that Jace did that game. That was a huge amount. Taking turrets on that top side, creating pressure. Those solo lanes were huge. But that Draven very much did take Star Show. Yeah, poor Shen.
Smacking Shen over and over again. Poor guy.
Yeah, I'd like to see some adaptations from INT. It didn't even feel like that was necessarily a problem with the comp or anything like that. What the issue was, if I had to identify, they didn't use the comp. They had a good comp there, but they weren't allowed to use it because they lost that early advantage. They were put into those side lanes really hard, and Falcons just looked for picks and they won the game off of it. Excellent stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, moving forward, I kind of want Falcon to have a more structured draft. Well, I hope INT gets the same kind of drafts because it was honestly really good. We'll see how things go on further though.
But yeah, we're going to be dropping this one off for right now. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with game 2 between In the Trees and Falcon Esports.
What makes you an exception?